Hi, it's Amy again. Today I want to go over how to sew a button. Just quick and easy. This is something really everyone should know. I think we learned it in like home economics class in middle school, but I'm not sure if everyone does that. So this is a good lesson for anyone to have because buttons pop off. It happens to everything. And it's really sad when you can't replace them. You definitely don't want to have to go to a dry cleaner and have to pay someone to just do a simple little task. You can buy sewing kits at most convenience stores, and most items come with an extra button. On shirts, I know they sew them to the inside flap at the bottom. There's usually one or two there. Coats generally come with one in a little baggie. It's either attached by a tag or it's like in one of the pockets. So look at your clothes and see if you can find the extra buttons anywhere. And then look at this video and see how to do it. So we're going to start by threading a needle. I got a pretty big one for the sake of this, show you. And I'm using a different color thread than the fabric just so you can see a little bit better. Threading a needle can be tricky. Not with the size of the eye on this one, but so generally when you sew things, if you're trying to attach something, you double the thread. Now for things like buttons, I like to quadruple the thread. So I'm gonna actually cut this and then put another one through. I found my snips. I remember I mentioned that to you, I think, that I lost my snips. They're a little bit warped now, so I'll have to bend them back in place so they cut better. But this around my neck is so much more convenient when draping and sewing than having to use like the big giant shears. All right, so I'm just gonna thread a second one through. Pull it as long as the first. Smooth it in case anything is twisted. Now, I constantly stick needles and pins in my mouth. It's not recommended. It's just more convenient. Okay, I almost did this without showing you. So the easiest way to tie a knot in your thread, it's easier if there's like, if you're not completely dry, so you can lick your finger, or it might work otherwise. So you put the end of the thread between your pointer and thumb, wrap it around your pointer, see how it's like crossed, and then you just roll them together so they're all twisted. And then with your middle finger, you pull it down. And that's how you make a nice knot in your thread. Now, I have anywhere to stick this. I don't. I'll just put it right there. Now we'll do a button. I guess most buttons. We'll do this one. It's a bigger button. It's 4 holes. So you'll come from the back, put the needle through, and just put that through one of the holes and pull it all the way. I like to go 2 parallel lines when there's 4 buttons. I know a lot of people like to crisscross. I feel like that makes it too bulky in the center. But it's whatever your personal preference is of how you like the look. So then you go back down. Now here's the key, and I feel like most people don't know this. Don't pull it tight. Because if you sew that button flat against the fabric, there's nowhere for the thing you're buttoning it to go. And that's why so many buttons pop off. Because if there's no gap, it's just going to pull on the button all the time. So you want to leave a little space. And actually, I found this in my sewing box. This is what they taught us this with in school. You stick a straw in there between the fabric and the button, and you sew tightly to that. That way you know that you're leaving a gap. This is just while you're learning. So if you have any kind of straw lying around or a pencil even, so then you want to go up in the other side, the other holes that you didn't do yet. Pull it tight around the straw. Come back through. Now, because you quadrupled your thread, you don't have to do as many stitches. I typically only go through each set of holes twice. If you didn't quadruple your thread, you want to do at least 3, if not 4 times through. Just stitch. All right, so I've done my 2 in each one. Now I'm going to pull my straw out. I don't know if you can really see, but there's a gap there now. See, there's loose, it looks weird, I'm sure, at first, but there's more to do. So now you put the thread through the fabric, not the button, stay behind the button. Pull it like that, and then you wrap it around what you just sewed, like this. And you tighten that. Just do several until you've got a nice wrap in there. So that gathers all your stitches together. Careful though not to pull too much on the fabric. You don't want there to be puckering behind it. Fabric thread. Then when you're done with that, you put the needle back through the fabric to the back part. Just using a patch of muslin to do this demonstration. Now when you're on the back, this is how you're gonna finish it off and make a knot. So you just put through a little bit of fabric there. And before you pull the whole needle out, leave it half in. Take the end of the thread from the fabric and wrap it around the needle 3 times. Then hold it there and pull the needle through. You might want to just like push that down with your fingernail. If it's something like that's going to get pulled on a lot, like a button or a hook and eye, I like to do 2 knots actually. Most people will tell you just do 1, but so the second one I usually only wrap twice. Yeah, one of my threads got caught. That's the risky run of doing so many threads. One gets left out sometimes. Just try to find the culprit. Nope, not one of those. There it is. And then that one, okay. So you do that. And then you just cut your threads. And that's how you do a button properly. So I don't know if you can see, I did parallel lines instead of crisscross. The stitches underneath are wrapped to make a little bit of depth between the fabric and the button. So when you button it, it's not going to just yank it off immediately. So now I'll do that again, just so you get a refresher. I have a 2-hole button here. Just scrap buttons I found lying around. So again, oh, I didn't show you the knot. I'll knot it again so you can see. All right. So again, hold it between your pointer and your thumb, wrap it around, and then roll it and tighten it. And that's your knot. So you go from behind, you go through the hole, back through the other hole. Oh, I got stuck on my other button. Okay, leave it a bit loose. Come back up, down. Then you come up again, but stay behind the button and wrap it. Then go back to the back of the fabric and make your knot. Put the needle through the fabric, leave it sticking into the fabric, wrap it a few times around the end, pull it, and tighten it. And there you go. Another button that's not being pulled. And that is how you do buttons. Shank buttons are easier. Those are the ones with the loop sticking out. That's part of the button. You still want to wrap those for stability, but you don't have to leave a gap there, obviously, because the shank is the gap. If I find a shank button, I'll do a short video on that. But there you have it. That's how to knot your thread, sew buttons, and then finish it off in the back. Thanks for watching. Good luck.